Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the final stream for this year, 2021. It's almost the first for the year 2022, but not quite. We didn't get there yet, so yeah. But yeah. So we're gonna do a transitional stream. You could say I'm gonna do an illustration of a girl eating ice cream in a city with 2021 to 2022 in the background. Kind of funny though because really and truly it doesn't feel like we're changing years. It's kind of just one continuous 2020. Anyway, so just a reminder that the music this evening is from Creators Lib Free on YouTube. They do sound effects and music for creators like myself, so you can check them out if you like. Alright, enjoy the music. I'll be starting in just a few minutes.
Cheat Bomber 2 Freezer, thank you. Jackie with 20 pound resub, thank you. Mr. Frosty with the Prime, thank you.
Alright, I'm all ready and set to go, so let's do this thing. Now, as I told you this evening, I'm going to be drawing a girl eating ice cream, so I'm going to start with a rough design of what I want her to look like and the scene in general to look like. Just setting the backdrop to white. This new layers and objects dialogue in Inkscape is really cool. It's coming in version 1.2, by the way. So yeah, you can look forward to some really cool features in 1.2. There's page support and a number of other new features as well. Really loving it, by the way. So check it out. Alright, I'm gonna set the... I'm gonna start drawing the rough shape on this layer. So her face is gonna be somewhere... Okay, that's really thick. Forgot to change my settings. Still thick. I mean, I could use something thick like that, but I will reserve that for when I can draw on something special that I won't tell you yet. You will find out what that is in time. Alright, this should work just as I want it to. Okay. Had a little delay in drawing there just now. This is not what her final shape will look like. I'm just doing something rough here to give myself an idea of where I want things to be. Noses always give me trouble. I'm probably gonna do a very simple one when I actually bother to draw the real thing or get around to drawing the real thing. But yeah, I'm still trying to figure out people in terms of drawing realistic looking people. Oops. My headset just decided to drop off again. Good thing my webcam is not on, y'all would get so many bloopers. Just a second here, let me secure this headset and then I'll get back to drawing. Okay, good, there we go. This is really, really rough, by the way, so this is not what she will look like in the final drawing. These are also very rough teeth, they will not look like this at all. I'm gonna do some very rough buildings in the background up in here. Now, if you're on Twitter, by the way, you probably aren't seeing the stream as usual because Twitter basically doesn't know how to keep their interface consistent. I'm sometimes surprised at these companies being able to be so popular when they are doing such a poor job with certain things. So, it is what it is, but I am live on Twitter and YouTube and Twitch. So if you want, you can share. Actually, this reminds me, I have a post that I'm planning to write on Dev about the internet not being a democracy, because we often seem to think of the internet as a democracy when in reality it's not one. Not at all. Well, I forgot to give her some really puffy hair somewhere around here and behind here. Alright, so I'm gonna have some fluffy hair like that somewhere and an ear somewhere around there. The other one will barely be visible. This nose probably will not look like this. Alright, this over here will probably not quite end down here, so I'll just mark that off. I was actually thinking more to put a street behind her in some sort of way, so something like this. perspective can be hard to do when you're trying to get stuff in the background and stuff in the foreground together, which is sometimes where you should probably split those two into two different illustration stages. So you do your background first, then your foreground, or foreground first, background, whichever you choose to do. Alright, so I'm going to make this translucent. And I'm going to add another layer. Let me move this up to the top. Oops, I didn't mean to put that in layer 3, I meant to put it above layer 3. Oops. I should really use my mouse at this point, but sometimes when you get started with the tablet, you don't really feel like touching the mouse again. Alright, sorry. I'm gonna have to switch to the mouse. What I'm actually going to do this time, normally I like to draw these things by hand, but I'm going to combine drawing by hand and actually using primitives. So let me start with her face. Alright, that's about good there. I'm going to convert this to a path. I really love the versatility of working with scalable vector graphics, because you can do so many things that you cannot possibly do when you're doing this by hand. Alright, let's make her actually the correct color. I'll fix the color later, because of course this will need some tweaking. Oops, wrong layer selected. No, she looks really funny like this. Not to worry, that will be fixed. Temporary stage in this process. But I don't need a second one. Let me duplicate this and duplicate that. Now I'm going to use the strategy that I used in the Humanity project, which I still plan to get back to, by the way. It's not finished, I just took a break on it so I could focus on some other things and put together some concrete ideas. But I'm going to use a method from within the Humanity project for creating her eyelids. So what we're going to do is rotate this one, move it down this way, and then we're going to resize it a little bit. Let's make sure the color is different so I can see the contrast. I'm going to duplicate this one, move it down, and use difference. Right, so that's her first eyelid. Now, technically I should be illustrating this, but I decided to cheat a little bit and actually create her from primitives and illustration. So we'll see how this goes over time. Maybe I could try a challenge if I have enough time to see if I can illustrate her and create her from primitives as well. So I could do two different images. I started to get tongue twisted. That was hilarious. Wait, do I have a... Oh. Okay. I didn't even realize that. Okay, something's not right here. Oh, I see what happened. My mistake. There we go. As it stands, I'm actually beginning to think I might just go with the illustration, because although this method can work in terms of visualizing, since I started with an actual illustration, it may actually work better if I just illustrate all the way through when I think through it. Her eyes are a little bit big too, come to think of it. And I think they'll probably work better closed. So that was a good start, but it will probably work better if I go from my old way of drawing things, which is drawing by hand. Even though I'm not all that hot at drawing people, in my opinion, I'm going to draw this one by hand. Some of this will be erased after, but I want to get a rough idea of where things should go first. So that's why I'm doing this entire thing first. That mouth was way too big. Okay, these teeth need some work. But that's just because I'm drawing with a really thick brush stroke, so that's what's happening there. Let me turn up the opacity on this as well. Okay, so I need to move some of these elements up. And her nose is going to need to change. Alright, let me just use the mouse because this tablet thingy, see, that thing doesn't work. There we go. Oops. Let's try this again. And I'm going to move her mouth up here instead of down there because it looks happier higher up. I'm just filling in this bottom piece here, which will be eventually covered by ice cream, so that I have an idea of just how far down her mouth really goes. Alright, I'm pretty satisfied with that. Oh, the really tough part. Nostrils. I hate drawing them. I probably should just leave them alone, but hey. You only get better by trying. Probably gonna have to erase quite a bit of this to streamline everything eventually, but hey. By the way, sorry to anyone who has been on chat this whole time. Oh, hi Martin, and I'm not sure who this is because I do not read Cyrillic, my apologies, but I was not on chat, so I completely missed your messages earlier. My apologies. I was gonna do her eyes open in some sort of way. I'm still not sure if I will or not. Let me just toy with it and see how it looks in my mind's eye. Oops, I just did the wrong move there. I meant to unlock this and I ended up turning it off. Okay, that is ridiculous. Okay. I think her eyes will be better off closed. Even if I remove these eyelid, eyebrow, whatever they are, thingies, they still will not look as good as if they're just turned up like that. I was kind of aiming for a slight degree of realism, but I still want that kind of cartoonish look. So I'll avoid the realism this time. Oh yes, you can be in both places at the same time. It's pretty cool. Okay, so on the face, I'm actually going to try to draw her face now. This is where it'd be a little bit easier if I'm drawing on paper, because drawing straight shapes on a tablet is a little tricky, as you can probably tell. Okay, I do not know why they put that in this song with the voice effect, but okay, we will ignore that. If you're not from the Caribbean, that word is actually pretty serious. Still makes me laugh every time though. Alright, time to change this music. My apologies to all Caribbean people there who were hearing that music just now going, what on earth? Yeah. That was hilarious and not funny at the same time. Alright, this is very, very rough here with her hair. I will actually fill that in later. I just want to have a rough idea of where it should be. I think I'm probably going to make her eyes smaller at some point too. Alright, so she's going to have some puffs of hair off to the side like this. We're just going to do a very rough outline at this point. All of this will be filled in eventually. Now I know I'm doing art today, but web design can also take some principles from what I'm doing here. When I do drawings, I oftentimes like to just jump in and start drawing. Same thing with the design for a website. But I would suggest taking some time to invest in mockups and like sometimes prototypes as well. You don't only have to stick with a mockup. Start with a prototype and then slowly evolve your prototype into the final product. That's the suggestion I would make. So you get an idea of where things can go, any adjustments you may need to make, and you can keep making adjustments as you go until you come up with what should eventually be your final product. Sometimes I'll even do that and then copy and remove the things I don't need and keep iterating until I get the actual final product. By the way, I'm kind of taking a shortcut here in terms of drawing her hair. When you're doing African texture here, you usually have to apply quite a bit of detail to it to get it accurate. I've been working on it privately. Some of those images I'm not planning to release as yet, but I've been getting some really good results in terms of drawing people, and even getting more realistic results from my attempts. And I find that black hair, it is a challenge, but it's worth it when you actually put in the work. What I'm doing here though is just a very simplified shortcut, because it actually is way more complicated than just doing some short squiggles like this. Alright, I think she's beginning to come together now in a sense. I can begin to picture what she should look like. At least a little better than when I started. I'm thinking her mouth lower down might actually have been better, come to think of it. So I'll probably shift that. Well, how did I just lock that layer? I didn't even realize I did. Okay, so that should be better there. I'm gonna contour her face a little bit more in this direction and then erase what I don't need. Right, so let me lock all these now and focus on the ice cream. By the way, for anyone who's on chat, anything that you really enjoyed this year, I know this year has been a tough one, but we've also had some wins. So like, what are your wins for this year that you really want to celebrate? Let's talk about it. I know for me, one of my wins from this year is that I actually got the confidence to start drawing people, which is one of the areas I've always struggled in. So I actually started doing it and pressing ahead with it, and I'm beginning to get pretty good at it. Now that I think about it too, if I remember correctly, I started streaming this year, which is another pretty big deal. And I've come pretty far in a short space of time. Alright, so I'm going to put some thickness around this area here. Cool thing with Inkscape is that I can then go back and clean up all these really rough looking strokes. If I really took the time to do it, I could turn my rough illustrations that look like sketches into something that looks like a direct on paper drawing. I just usually don't take the time to do it, but it's possible. I could even export to a PNG, then trace bitmap and get something even cleaner. Maybe tweak it a bit if I need to. Maybe then do that same process again, export, trace, clean up, until I get exactly what I want. think I'm gonna put some ice cream running down here. I just remembered too that I have a glove that I should put on my hand to reduce the strain. Because sometimes doing some of these corners and stuff can be quite stressful on your hand. Alright, let's lock this. Whoops, not you. You. Lock that layer. And unlock this one. Now we have a rough idea of where the ice cream will be. We can remove the parts of her face that we don't need. Now some may consider this method that I use wasteful. I personally find this method to be actually pretty good for getting realistic results. Even if you're going for a more cartoonish style than a realistic style, it still gives you good results. Because you get to figure out realistically where the edges of something will be, like the contours on her face and stuff. So that's why I prefer to use this method. And truth be told, Inkscape makes it very easy. So whatever your style is that you like to work with, it should be pretty versatile and allow you to do it. And voila, there we go. So now it looks like she's actually quote-unquote biting into this ice cream. If we turn off the rough layer, let's see how that looks. Not bad. Still need to clean up her face a bit, but starting to come together. Oh, I actually don't, but that makes a lot of sense now you mention it. I never have tried that before, so let me try and see how that works. This is what happens when you have an Inkscape developer watching you on stream. You learn features that you never knew were there after God knows how many years of using the program. Now let's see if this is all one. Okay. Well, it didn't join these together, but maybe I'm not quite understanding the feature fully, so let me try it again. If I hold shift before and let go, let me see if this will work. Oh, it does. Oh, so that's how you do it. Well, thank you very much, Martin, because I never knew that before. That will really, 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 really improve my workflow. Whoops, what did I just do there? I just accidentally zoomed in when I didn't mean to. One of the things I love about drawing this is like not related to anything specific, but is being able to bring your imagination to life. Like, I've never seen an ice cream cone that looks quite like this, so I get to imagine what one would look like if it were real. I forgot this ice cream is supposed to be coming down from up here. Let me just fix that quickly. And now we will erase what we don't need. Oops. I meant to type 50. There we go. Wasn't looking where I was typing. Oh, sweet. Let me try that. Okay, I forgot I changed my key to move the window around. So it moved the window just now. Oops. Went too far there just now. No. Okay, so this is under the snap somewhere. The joys of using development software. Okay, that will probably keep crashing, so I'll have to import instead. I changed my my key to move stuff around to my Alt key because my super key is actually used for opening the art menu. So that's why I moved it to a different key. Right, let me see if I can import that drawing. Oops, not selectors. Oh, by the way, let me show you all something real quick. Shameless plug here. For anyone who wants me to do commissions, it was just there. Now I lost it. It was under pictures. Right, this one. It's kind of low quality, but if I zoom in, you should be able to see it. So we were given a challenge on Twitter to remove. There was actually a man in this picture, so we were given a challenge to remove the man from the background of the picture. I removed him, but I gave a condition: only if I'm able to add a sword and laser vision. But then I also added super speed. So for anyone who didn't see it, yes, I did that one because I can't be stopped when it comes to foolishness. I had to add some unnecessary stuff rather than just remove the guy. I'm just kidding. If you actually ask me if you commission me to do something like this, I can do that for you, just letting you know. But I only had a low resolution image to work with, unfortunately, so that was why it was so low quality. As the file that keeps crashing, Martin, unfortunately, it crashes whenever I open any file. Basically, so oftentimes if it crashes while I'm drawing, I have to open the file from the file manager, or I sometimes have to import the file again, or it will crash. But I could probably still send a sample and see if it is the files I'm saving or something, but it happens with clean files, old files, dirty files. Just kidding, there are no such thing as dirty files. I just said that for fun because of clean. But yes, it happens with just about everything. Okay, what did I just add here by accident? If I add it, okay, there it is. That would be a good idea. I didn't even think of that. I have been so busy drawing that I forgot to debug. If I use S-Trace, would that do the same job, or do I have to use GDB? Oh, I see this moved my layers to groups, so I'll have to move them back out. Which one are we looking for here? Right, ice cream. Drop that there. Interesting. I can't select them. Alright, I have a solution for that. There we go. This new layers and objects dialog is a lifesaver. It took a little bit of getting used to having come from the layers dialog before, but no, I actually have the hang of it. It really improves my workflow. Oh, S-Trace, you just type S-Trace before the what do you call it? The program, and when you run the program you should get a trace of everything that happens. It can be quite verbose, so sometimes it's not as useful, I guess, but it's pretty quick, I find, so that's why I tend to use it. I think it's part of bin utils, but I'm not sure. Come to think of it, one of these good days I need to get back into actual desktop programming and C++ and everything, because I really miss that, but we'll see. When I can actually get to a place in my life where I have the time, I would love to get back into it. There we go. Now it looks like the ice cream is dripping. I think I'm gonna move her around altogether. Let me see something here. Oh, they all disappeared. I see. Alright, so I'm gonna need to move this to a new layer. And everyone else is locked, aren't they? There we go. I'm not quite sure of any way to do it without GDB because I haven't done it myself, but I will look into that. Although I have no issue using GDB, just haven't, at least for a while, so more a matter of familiarity, but I can figure it out. I think I like her smaller. Alright, so here I'm going to move this out. Alright, let's start giving her some hair. Oops, how did I get blue? I don't know when I clicked on that. Now for the kind of black hair that she has right up front here, I'm going to do it kind of back and forth. Relatively short strokes. And I'm layering it, of course, because I want to give the impression of thickness. I just realized something though, this is coloring them with some opacity, isn't it? Yes, it is. How did we get ice cream selected? Interesting. Oh, I see. So some part of her hair is in her face, I think. Right, let's turn off eyes for now. Yeah, some part of her hair is in her face. No big deal, I'll just lock that and draw the hair on top of it. I usually don't like to get my layers confused, but it happens every once in a while, so no big deal. Right, so as I was saying, we're going to layer hair on top of itself. And every so often I stop and start drawing new strokes. Whoops, not what I intended there. Alright, let's do that again. Now, even though some of the areas are going to be filled in, what we are relying on is the fact that our brain will technically be noticing the gaps, even though they're not immediately obvious. So, to the untrained eye, it looks as though I'm wasting my time doing all this. But if you actually know what you're doing, you're tricking your brain into seeing what is not there, seeing some complexity that technically does not exist. Now once I'm done with this, I'll start adding some spirals as well, because black hair is not really all that straight, and I don't want her hair to be completely slick either. So I'm going to start adding spirals on top of these. They're not immediately obvious again, but your brain is seeing what is technically not there because I'm tricking it. I'm going to probably have to erase some of the edges here. I know for sure some of my black women hairstylists and stuff would come for me like, those edges are not laid straight. Sorry. I am really tempted to show you all the illustrations I did recently, but I also want to keep those until the right time of season, so we'll see. But I am getting so much better at this, I have to say. Let me give her some thicker outlines out here. Don't worry, there is method behind this madness. Everything will be revealed. Fun fact I've realized about myself, by the way. I find that I got better at drawing people when I started drawing on the computer, whereas I'm much better at drawing animals by hand on paper. I don't know why that is or what it is behind it, but just a fact I've noticed about myself. Alright, I'm just gonna fill in here a little bit. The russet. Now, after giving the initial cover, I'm going to do smaller circles closer to the edges and come in to kind of simulate how our hair really works. I think this is one of the secret reasons, not really all that big of a secret, but this is one of the reasons why a lot of people don't bother to draw black people a lot, because our hair is a lot of work. and that mirrors real life because I can tell you, as a black man with long hair, I sympathize with our black sisters who have to wear this hair all the time. It is work. So shout out to artists who actually take the time and effort to draw black hair because it ain't easy. I was about to sing a little bit of a rap song there, but then I remembered copyright, and I do not want to get a copyright strike for singing a rap song because I'm actually pretty good at it. Which is kind of funny, but technology has gone to the point now where, take for instance, at church, we've had, well, not copyright strikes, but they mute your audio if you sing a certain song, like one that is done under copyright by, you know, some other band or whatever. Even at church, you get your audio muted, which is so annoying. For singing, you're not stealing anything, you're singing. But the technology picks it up and goes, aha! She's beginning to look kind of cute. Now let's fix her eyes, cause those eyes ain't working. Okay, what is going on here? Like, where's the layer for these? Inkscape, what have you done? Well, I see what happened. These are not in any layer. Can we? Oops. Let's add a new layer. Unknown. I'm not sure how this happened, but oh well. Good, there we go. I think I probably could remove the rough layer now altogether because I'm not going to be using this anymore. Adios. Hair and puff can stay together. Okay, what just happened there? I don't know if that's my mouse or if that's the dialogue, but it keeps clicking on the wrong thing by accident. Or expanding the wrong layer, I mean. Alright, I'm gonna remove eyes and face. Let me see here. We're gonna select some of her face and remove it. Well, just the eyes, of course. Whoops, I forgot that's locked. Okay, now what? It's not locked. Okay, let's see if I can... Still can't see that then. Alright, ungroup. Good, there we go. Oh no, she has no eyes! Johnny Bravo couldn't be seen without his glasses, Velma couldn't see without her glasses, and this girl, well, she just doesn't care. I'm not quite satisfied with this nose, but seeing as noses are so impossible to draw for me, I'm going to leave that alone for now. I mean, technically, if I had to do this professionally, I would just find a picture of a nose and figure it out from there, but when I'm drawing for myself, I don't bother. There's so much work. It's like God was making the face and said, you know what would be really funny? You know what would be really funny? How about two random holes in the middle of their face? Alright, I want the eraser, and I am going to erase these extra lines from her face. I am clearly being spammed with some kind of text, something I have no clue what it's supposed to be. But thank you very much, guys. It's kind of funny. At least you're telling me that I'm getting popular enough for you to spam me. So I guess that's a feather in my cap. Alright, so now we're going to sort her teeth out. And to do that, I'm going to add a layer above ice cream. And we are going to try to put her teeth above the ice cream and remove parts of the ice cream until we get the exact effect that I want. So let's go with teeth. Is my playlist done? Oh, it asks me if I want to continue watching. That's what it was. You'll never find as long as you live. That was completely random. I don't know where it came from. I just remembered that human beings have two canines, and here I am drawing her four incisors too far across and not drawing any canines. So let me draw some small rounded teeth here. That'll get cleaned up shortly. That is true. I was drawing the idea of a nose rather than the lightness of one, because quite frankly, I'm not that good at the lightness of noses. Although I've been getting better at it, I've been practicing a lot, so I am getting better at noses, but they still give me some challenges. They're very hard to do. At least from certain angles. I find they're not that bad from like directly toward, well, actually no. Let me not say directly toward the front. It needs to be at the correct angle for me to get it right, and I can't quite pinpoint what that is. But I just know that I still struggle a bit with noses. Because people were never my thing. I was more of a fictional animals kind of guy, so it took me a while to get around to actually drawing people in a way that I find acceptable and reasonable. And I'm starting to actually become confident enough to go ahead with it. I have a friend, shout out to Kerry, he is very good at this stuff. When it comes to drawing people, he can turn you into a virtual version of yourself and you wouldn't know the difference. Me, on the other hand, I can turn you into a cartoon. That's what I specialize in when it comes to people. That said, practice does make perfect, and I have been really getting a hang of this whole people thing. We're not that bad when it comes to drawing us. I used to think that we were really difficult to do, but it's more a matter of dedication than inability. Those bottom teeth may not remain when I'm done. I just wanted to see what they will look like. So what I'm going to do actually is adjust the ice cream so that it's actually going into her mouth. Now, I know I'm drawing above her teeth, but I'm going to erase parts of this eventually. Just my method tends to be to draw the final product and then remove what I don't want. Because when you do that, you can actually end up with more realistic results. And one of the things I love about using Inkscape and vector graphics is that I can do this in a manner that is pretty much as flexible as you can get. It's the best way you could put that. It's really, really flexible. I mean, when you're painting, you can use layers and still gives you some freedom, but vector graphics, because I can take pieces of this and resize and all that non-destructively, it's really cool. Alright, so that's just a rough idea of where the ice cream should fall. Let me make sure I lock her teeth too, by the way. Yeah, I just realized that all of these are in the wrong layer. And now, ladies and gentlemen, erase. Now you'll notice that I will leave some rough lines here because I still want some texture to her ice cream. I may even add some and then erase within them to give some more texture eventually. I'm guessing this is kind of like soft serve ice cream that she can somewhat bite into. We'd have to ask her to be sure. Right, I'm gonna just add some lines around here. These are not final, these are going to add texture shortly. But I'm drawing them in a particular motion to simulate motion. Alright, with that done, let me grab this eraser. Thank you very much. I did not want the options. That was an accident. No! Here we go again. Wait a minute. I just remembered something. I can open this from my file manager instead because Inkscape is not going to open this. It's going to crash if I try to open it again. So let's go. Okay, this is the wrong one. There we go. Alrighty, back in business. Why is this selecting here every time I press Ctrl A? That is weird. Let's lock that and try again. Fascinating. As long as it works. Okay, it did not select a thing. Alright. Seeing as these are so many, I am going to combine them. And yeah, there we go. That should be much easier to work with now. No! Alright, so clearly that doesn't want to work. There is another strategy now that I remember that I'm going to employ. Instead of erasing, seeing as this is white, I'm going to just color it over. No. Oh, I just realized why. Did I select the path before choosing the color? I missed it. This is actually better than erasing because it's actually going to blend. So I think I'm preferring this after all. I can kind of go wild on this one now, seeing as we're blending. Good, there we go. Okay, so now let's give her a body, and I'm gonna fix her nose at some point, but for now we'll leave it. So I'm gonna give her a neck, a body, and probably touch on the buildings after that. Oh, I forgot to do the ice cream cone fully, so let me finish that first. I'm gonna take a risk here and draw some fingers around this ice cream cone. Oh, did I move these outside of ice cream again? Now you'll probably notice also I have improved at drawing fingers and hands a little bit. I have been practicing extensively. Doing a short line here because we have to simulate her hand kind of disappearing through perspective. Then I'm going to do a sleeve here, cut off around that point. Drawing really is an exercise in learning to translate perspective, and not so much a matter of knowing, trying to find the right words for this, but it's not so much that you have to know a skill of like drawing itself on its own. It's more a matter of understanding the way how lines interact and stuff to trick your brain, kind of, if that makes sense. Alright, let me rename this to, whoops, let me rename this to body. Thing is, this part of her neck here, I may have to change that too. Not quite sure I like how that came out. Okay, not completely terrible here. Could be a little better in proportion, but we'll work with it. Maybe I may adjust her face a little bit, clean it up some more. Definitely though, her nose is gonna need to go, because that nose is not doing her justice. Spoiling her face. What is in layer 3? Oh, I see. Do we even have it selected? What is happening? Okay, that was odd. Is it doing anything? Oh, none of y'all were selected. You could have told me that, you know? Y'all need to speak up more. Okay, something definitely is up because it's not erasing either. I don't know what I did wrong here unless I have this locked. Ah, I do have it locked. Yeah, that would tend to cause that problem, you know. There we go. It is largely her nose I'm not satisfied with though when I really think about it. Let's see, yeah. It's that nose. Hello, Vucky ABX. I hope I got your username correct. Alright, you know, I think I'm going to leave that part of her face alone and focus on her nose. Because I don't really dig that nose at all. Or semblance of a nose, or whatever it is that I did there. Let's get rid of all this. Bye, nose. Her nose was getting all up in my business. It was too nosy. That was very bad, I know. Bye. See you later, nose. She almost looks good without one. That's how bad that nose looks. I mean, her facial proportions could be a little better. Like, I could move this part of her head up and lengthen her face a little, give her some proper cheeks, but that is a lot of work and I'm not doing that right now. So I'll just go with a simple nose this time. Let's see how this... No, that still won't satisfy me. It'll have to do. Let me see something here. If I can clean up her face still on another layer. Everyone else watching this is probably thinking, it's fine as it is. And me, on the other hand, I'm thinking, no, it isn't. I'm giving her an extreme makeover. Alright, let me get another playlist because this one is done. Now, for anyone wondering what is about to happen here, the explanation is that she voted for the lions eating her face party and they're finally eating her face. That's what is about to happen. Have a good night or evening. I'm not sure what time it is where you are, Marham, but enjoy your rest of the time period, because I'm not quite sure which time zone you're in. I'm assuming British. So you're probably at night, but have a good night or evening or morning or day or afternoon. I have no clue what time it is. And thank you for stopping by as always, and thank you for the tips. And thank you for developing Inkscape. Okay, I think... yeah, this part of her face needs some improvement too. this gone. Oops, wrong one selected. Alright, no. I think I'm pretty satisfied with how she looks at this point. Although I could have done her face a little bit better, I will leave it as is. So what I will do now is do some background work. She actually almost looks cool without a body. Oh, let me finish this ice cream cone in her hand, by the way. Completely forgot to do that. Gonna give her some paper around here, some sort. Gonna improve this slightly. Oh. Oh no! Not again. That's the price I pay for using pre-release software. I'm just kidding. But seriously, I do need to actually stop using pre-release software. Okay, who is invisible now? Oh, her body got deleted, didn't it? Wonderful. There should be an autosave somewhere, so I'm going to look for that and open it. Okay, cool. There we are. Knew there was an autosave around here somewhere. The day is saved thanks to autosave. Except that this autosave is a little bit behind on some of the changes I made, so now I have to make them again. I wonder if I can copy. Save me a lot of time. So what I'm going to do, I just need the body, copy, paste, and okay, that didn't work. So in body we have all these, object, no, path, sorry, combine, let's, well, that's locked. Okay, copy, and, oops, paste. There we go. Nice floating body and hand. Let's just drop these back into position. Perfect. But I just realized that it's still missing that piece of her, isn't it? Yeah, it is. Made no real difference. Ah well. Let me just make sure this has the right thing selected here. I didn't ask for here, the layer, I mean, here as in location, people. Thank you. Why do you keep selecting blue? Thank you. No, it's too, okay. Yeah, I keep forgetting that these settings are saved whenever you close, and it crashed and didn't save the right thing. Okay. We done now? Thank you. Stroke is obviously turned on these. Yep, there it is. Did I even select the right thing? There we go. Let me zoom out for this so I can actually see all of what I'm doing. Wait, this is an older version of Inkscape, isn't it? Or is it? Can't really... No, this is the correct version. So where did those buttons up here go? Some buttons are missing. This is probably the wrong build I opened by accident and didn't even realize. Yeah, it is. This is the PPA version. That's why it doesn't have those buttons. I have to say, if anyone were to ever steal my computer, they would be so confused because of the way that I work with all these pre-release applications from different sources and stuff. They would quickly bring it back and be like, I am so sorry, I am never stealing again. Just cleaning up parts of her fingers and hand so it looks a bit more realistic. Trying to get that kind of, I don't want to say stubby, but that's how they look. The kind of stubby look that children have when they're so small. Alright, now that we've done all of this, what I am going to do is resize her again. Oops, I forgot to lock everything first. See if I can turn off this thing. Alright, just quickly check everything is unlocked. There we go. Now we can work on this background. So I'm gonna lock everything else. Good. Now, this is gonna be a slight challenge because obviously I have to figure out where things are supposed to go in terms of perspective, but I will try to figure it out as I go. And I still want to put background here with well, something in the background here in the sky with 2021 to 2022. Alright, so let me see if I can get the lines right for this road behind her. I think that angle's probably incorrect actually. I'm trying to visualize this in my head. Being the kind of artist that I am can present a little bit of a challenge, which is that I tend to visualize things better when I am doing it from scratch out of my imagination than if I were, say, tracing or copying from an existing image, which I have gotten practice with over time, and so I can actually do it, but I tend to visualize best when it's in my imagination. But sometimes our imagination is relatively limited in a way because there's only so much you can imagine. I think that's pretty satisfactory there. Actually, what I will do to make it easier to do the skyline is resize the road behind her. There we go. Gotta love vector graphics, man. It's just amazing what you can do. So there. Now what I can do is remove this line and put it at a slightly different angle. Or not remove, let me move it actually. Put things at a different angle. And now we are going to clean things up a bit. Now for some very simplistic buildings, because I don't really want to overdo the rest of this illustration, and I've already done quite a bit. Over 2 hours now, so I'm gonna try to finish this off pretty soon. Thank you very much, email. In fact, instead of doing that so close, what I will do, put them in the background here somewhere. Alright, so this building in the foreground is going to be raised, because obviously this doesn't quite fit anymore. How did face get unlocked? Ah. In fact, let me put these in a new layer altogether. Straight lines can be very hard to do sometimes when your hand decides to go off on a tangent. There we go. I'm gonna have a little lake or something behind here in the city. I'm gonna put a road somewhere around here. Could probably make this thicker. Okay, it's going to need to be bigger than that. It's really interesting how relative size works in Inkscape. You always have to keep that in mind when you're drawing stuff like this. Like, those calligraphic strokes are very tiny when I'm zoomed in, but they're humongous when I'm zoomed out. Now we're going to put up in here 2021 to 2022. In fact, better if I do this with something drawing it across the sky instead. I was going to do it by hand, but it's going to be better than with actual text. I'm going to use a really cool feature in Inkscape that I have not used in a while to make this text curve. So first I need a freehand line. Let's try that again. Not quite that curvy. Alright, that should do it. Simplify this just a bit. There. And select the text, put on path, sorry. Now I can modify this path as I need to. And the text will reflow just as I want it to. And then I can make the path invisible. And there we go. No. Okay, that obviously won't work. See if I can drag the tech. Okay, cool. Not bad at all. What I'm going to do here now is select these I just created, and to save myself time, I am going to duplicate them and put them all across these other buildings. Whoops. Not sure what just happened there. I believe, yep, the tab got suspended. There we are, back to the music again. So yeah, this zoom level sometimes Inkscape doesn't like to draw anything. Not sure why that is. Okay, there we go. This looks really good, I have to say. I still wish I had done her face a little better, but hey. And her body proportions, but I'm getting there when it comes to people. I'm no expert, but I'm getting better at it, I have to say. Alright, I think I am pretty satisfied with this illustration as is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to import something from my last scene and overlay it on this one, which is actually my name. And do I have anything else I want to do? I don't think so. But thank you all for being with me this past year in my journey into streaming and hanging with me as I get back into one of my favorite things, which is art. Just enjoying the journey, enjoying the process. Also, for those who've been joining me for coding, thank you for stopping by and learning from and with me, because even as I'm teaching, I'm learning as well, learning new techniques and sometimes finding a gift of information and knowledge and education in my quirks that I may come across while I'm doing this stuff live. So thank you all for being with me this past year. I know it's been a rough year, but hey, we're here and that's what matters. So let's be happy and celebrate the fact we're still here, going into the new year, ready to do some good stuff. Alright, so let me save this officially at last. Art scenes. What shall we call this one? I decided to keep it simple because I can't really think of a better name for it. Alright, so let me pull up the other scene and we will give it the overlay that it needs, and then that will be it. Where is, there we go. Not random scenes. Between the worlds of my mind. For those who haven't grabbed it yet, it's on my Gumroad store and my Teespring store. I don't think I added it to Redbubble yet, but I probably will get around to that at some point. Alright, so this is what I wanted down here. Let's just copy this. But yeah, let's just drop this in the corner and call it a day. Instead of trying to put it somewhere floating. Or maybe, you know, it might be better off floating now. Remember, if anyone chooses to use this as a wallpaper, so I'll leave it floating. Yeah, about there. I'm not giving this scene a name on the scene itself, so it will just stay as it is with my handle. But yeah, that's about it. So thank you for watching. Thank you for stopping by and hanging out with me. I had a good time doing this scene. I'll be doing more like this soon in the new year, and we're going to have a dedicated day for illustrations and art and that kind of stuff, and a dedicated day for coding. So you can look out for updates on my streaming page, rolandditsar.pro/streaming. Also look out for some new YouTube tutorials and other content on all of my platforms. That is Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, dev.to. I don't remember if I'm forgetting any, but you can find all of those on my Linktree. Same handle, Linktree, rolandditsar. You'll find everything from there. And remember to check out my stores, because I have some pretty epic art that I want to buy myself. So go and buy some so I can buy some and get some of my own designs to wear and use and all that good stuff. So yeah, make sure and avail yourself of those. Anyway, until next time, I am... Hold a second, let me pull that up. I'm this guy right here, Roland Ditsar, aka Roland L. Taylor. You can find me everywhere online, especially these three platforms: YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, and Twitch. Yeah, so go check me out and check out my stores. See y'all later.